Solo Leveling, the Korean webtoon turned Japanese anime, is currently on its 4th episode of its 2nd season, and I'm just gonna say it, guys. This anime fucking slaps. Solo Leveling, the anime, continues to surprise me episode after episode. I mean, I knew that the 2nd season of this show was going to be good after its banger debut season, but I honestly didn't think it was gonna be this good. Hello everyone, I'm Finn. Welcome back to Finn Films. Join me today as once again I explain everything that happened in the most recent episode of Solo Leveling Season 2, Episode 4. An episode where this guy gets absolutely shook, she finds a stinky smell, and Jinwoo finally gets declared an S-ranked hunter. So last time on Solo Leveling, Jinwoo had returned to the freaky, weird dungeon where he got the key and fought Cerberus in Season 1, advancing deeper into said dungeon with his newly acquired powers and necromantic army, gaining 2 out of the 3 materials needed for him to craft the Elixir of Life, and awake his mother from the eternal sleep sickness. And, oh yeah, they hit us with the biggest plot reveal of Solo Leveling so far in the anime that Jinwoo's dad is, he's still alive. Not only is he still alive, but he has been stuck in a gate in a portal for the last 10 years, finally escaping, popping out in another gate in the United States of all places. Now, I went into detail on some of the information on Jinwoo's dad in my Season 2, Episode 3 review explained video. I'll link that video in the eye above. But in short, Jinwoo's dad was one of the first S-ranked hunters back when hunter powers kind of first emerged. If you couldn't tell that by how easily he kicked this dude's ass. Jinwoo's dad one day 10 years ago venturing into a portal into a gate where he has been stuck for the last 10 years, Jinwoo and his mother presuming he is dead. But nope, daddy's home. Episode 4 opens with Jinwoo returning back to Korea from the Demon Castle. Jinwoo deciding that before he takes on the final floor of said dungeon, he must continue to get stronger and go on higher level raids. But in order to do that, he must gain a higher rank. So then, after all this time pretending to be an E rank, Jinwoo declares it's time that he stopped faking. As the majority of the kind of crux of the story of this episode focuses around Jinwoo taking the Hunter Reassessment Test. Now we know from everything that has happened so far throughout Season 2 of Solo Leveling that Jinwoo is basically borderline on S-ranked, if not S-ranked already, which is a pretty big deal. At this point, there's only been a handful of S-ranked hunters that have been identified in Korea. I believe it's around 9 or 10 if I'm remembering correctly, but again, this doesn't include hunters that were around before the assessment test was developed. Jinwoo's dad. So then, Jinwoo being labeled an official S-ranked hunter will bring all sorts of opportunities for him, as basically every single guild in the country will want him, and they'll throw all sorts of money at him. Money will cease to be no problem for he and his family. This is also going to bring about some potential problems, as a lot of questions are going to arise as to how this lonely E-ranked hunter suddenly had this massive glow up of the century, rising to the ranks of S-ranked status, and potentially even beyond that, because of the whole leveling up shenanigans. We flash over to the Hunter Assessment Building, where we see all sorts of newbie hunters here to get their ranks assessed. One of the scouters for the White Tiger Guild is there, who, seeing Jinwoo, immediately calls his guildmaster, the S-ranked hunter Baek Yong-hoo, who we were introduced to in the previous few episodes of Season 2. Baek, wanting to recruit Jinwoo, immediately begins sprinting over to the building, ordering his subordinate to try and recruit him. Because again, our boy Jinwoo is the hottest free agent on the market right now, and at this point in time, the White Tiger Guild are some of the only people who actually have a suspicion just how strong this E-ranked hunter actually is. Jinwoo undergoes the assessment test, and yeah, it goes exactly how you think it might. The machine throws up an error message as it is unable to read Jinwoo's magical power, as he has so much of it that it actually can't register it on its scale. As hunter ranks are determined from latent magical abilities and powers within a hunter, this all but confirms that Jinwoo is an S-ranked hunter, as the machine has only ever failed to classify hunters before when they've been S-ranked. Again, because they have too much magical latent power for the machine machine to actually read it. Jinwoo being informally declared the 10th ranked S-ranked hunter found in Korea, as he is told to return as a later date for the follow-up assessment a few days later. This follow-up being a test that will more accurately measure his strength level, especially in comparison to the other 9 S-ranked hunters in Korea. We then see the hunter from the intel department discussing the situation of the strange high-level flying ants with Cho Jong-in, the head of the Hunters Guild, the strongest guild in Korea and one of the strongest S-ranked hunters in Korea, labeled by Jinwoo as the pinnacle of fire magic and the ultimate weapon. Apologies if I butchered that name. Jong-in trying to get information from the manager Woo on this mysterious hunter who cleared the strange red gate that appeared a few weeks back, aka Jinwoo. Their conversation is interrupted, however, when they hear a commotion coming from down the street at the Hunter Assessment Building. Word having quickly got out about Jinwoo being informally declared the next S-ranked hunter, the 10th S-ranked hunter in Korea, and people absolutely fanboying over him. It's then that Jong-in enters the building, seeing Jinwoo and our boy's aura, knowing immediately what the commotion is all about. He tries to lay on the charm and recruit Jinwoo to his guild, but our boy gives him the cold shoulder and leaves the guildmaster shook, as obviously he is not used to getting turned down, as who would turn down a spot in the most powerful and prestigious hunters guild in all of Korea. It's then that Guildmaster Baek arrives, out of breath, having sprinted over from his office just down the street, but he is too late, having just missed Jinwoo. The two S-ranked Guildmasters locking eyes with one another, Jong-in realizing that if the White Tiger Guild wanted to recruit Jinwoo, this strange hunter, so badly, that he must have been the mysterious hunter who cleared the Red Gate. As the word is quickly getting out about this new awakened S-ranked hunter, every guild wanting to recruit Jinwoo. We see Jinwoo spending the evening with his mother, promising that she will wake up soon, as he is close to completing again the elixir of life. As he leaves, he is stopped by a member of the surveillance team who tells him that someone wishes to speak with him, that someone being Go Gun-hee, the chairman of the Hunters Association and the first ever recorded S-ranked hunter by the assessment process. While we've seen Gun-hee a few times in the series so far, we know very little about him. While he is currently an older man, in his prime he was one of the strongest hunters in the entire world and the first S-ranked hunter to be identified and registered in Korea from the assessment process. But due to his age, he was forced to retire after only working for a few years as a hunter, where he now works as the chairman for the Hunters Association, a government entity that oversees hunters, gates, and guilds, and stands as the sixth pillar to the other 5 guilds to balance the power within Korea. Basically, if you know anything about Korean politics, it's almost like the Hunters Association is the stand-in for the Korean government, trying to stand as a balance of power between the massive Korean corporations like Samsung. But we're getting a little too political, aren't we? We see the chairman attempt to recruit Jinwoo to the association to work for the government, a tempting prospect, but Jinwoo declines, saying his place is within the gates, fighting monsters and protecting the peoples of Korea. The chairman, while disappointed, is incredibly inspired by the fire inside Jinwoo's passion, wishing that he was just a few years younger and that he could join this passionate, strong young hunter in battle. Next, we see that Dong-soo, the S-ranked hunter, is recovering after getting the kicked out of him by Jinwoo's dad in the previous episode. Dong-soo convinced that Jinwoo's dad must be a magical beast and vows to get revenge on him. Back in Korea, Jinwoo, wanting to further increase his power, looks to acquire more powerful magical artifacts, which are now widely available through an online auction house, which feels straight out of something like World of Warcraft. However, needing money to buy said item, he decides to sell one of the artifacts that he gained from the Demon Gate, but wanting to avoid suspicion, he decides to join a mining guild team assisting in an S-ranked portal, as he believes that he needs a cover as to how an E-ranked hunter could have possibly acquired such a powerful magical item, and being within an A-ranked portal is kind of that cover. The portal, though, in question happens to be led by the Hunters of the Hunters Guild, with its S-ranked guildmaster and his second-in-command, the 9th S-ranked hunter in Korea, hae-in. Jinwoo, finally getting a chance to be alone inside this portal, decides to take a peek within the boss room of this A-ranked dungeon, rushing off alone by himself. He stops for a second, realizing that if he were to defeat the boss, the gate would close, which would be a large financial loss for the Hunters Guild, who are waiting for the miners to finish mining before they go and defeat the boss. However, our main character, our OP boy, just can't help himself, but as he plans on entering the boss room, he is suddenly confronted by the S-ranked hunter, hae-in, and the episode ends. Again, another fantastic episode of Solo Leveling. I'm honestly becoming kind of obsessed with this show, more than I ever thought I would be. This was probably by far the most kind of slower kind of build-up episode that we've seen so far, especially in Season 2, even compared to episodes in Season 1. But even so, I absolutely loved it. I've said this several times in my other kind of explained videos in the review sections, but Solo Leveling is really good when it comes to its pacing. There's almost no kind of filler episodes within Solo Leveling. They know what their audience likes, which is the action scenes and a lot of the kind of like plot progression scenes, and they're very much doing that within Solo Leveling. This episode, though, was kind of a strategic kind of cool down episode from, the first 3 episodes that we've seen so far in Season 2, which have very much been mega action paced. There was basically no traditional action in this, kind of violence of Solo Leveling in this episode, except for at the end, really, in a kind of quick set of shots within this A-ranked portal that Jinwoo goes in. But all things considered, there was basically no action fight scenes in this episode compared to, which I think is kind of a first, compared to every other episode of Solo Leveling so far. I could be wrong. But ultimately, I think this episode achieved its goal, which was to be a cool down episode and to hype up the next series of episodes, the next kind of mini arc for Season 2, and it definitely achieved its goal, as I honestly don't think that I've been this hyped to see the next episode of Solo Leveling in a long time, since probably the first 1 or 2 episodes of Season 1. I don't know what exactly it was about this episode. Maybe it was the fact that Jinwoo finally is awakened. He finally has revealed himself as the new S-ranked hunter on the block in Korea, and it really feels like the plot is beginning to move. No longer can he hide in the shadows. He has to come out and show the world his newfound powers. This episode really kind of felt like a major kind of plot pivotal moment for the story of Solo Leveling, and maybe that's why it just felt so hype. It felt like, this kind of build-up episode for the next arc in Season 2 that is to come. But ultimately, I really enjoyed this episode, and I think it very much did its job in being a hype-building, cool-down episode from our first 3 kind of really action-packed, high-intensity episodes of Season 2. And I've definitely made me hyped, and I can't wait for next Saturday to see the next episode, episode 5 of Season 2 of Solo Leveling. I've said this before, but Solo Leveling continues to surprise me, man. It continues to surprise me just how well it reinterprets a lot of the themes of kind of the isekai anime, the trapped in a video game anime, ultimately the OP kind of main character badass, these kind of themes and genres of anime, but put a twist on them and do it in a whole new light that makes me actually enjoy it. Because I'm not gonna lie, guys, the isekai trapped in a video game animes, these type of themes are super oversaturated. But Solo Leveling has managed to use a lot of these themes from anime and do it in a new entertaining way that has really got me engaged. And I'm not alone, as this is easily one of the most popular anime to come out in the last few years, and it's probably the most hyped anime of winter 2025 right now. Another thing that I love about Solo Leveling is it does kind of have this Attack on Titan feel, where this feel of there's so many mysteries going on within the storyline, so many different levels of plot and plot progression within the story of Solo Leveling, as over time these secrets and mysteries are slowly peeled back like an onion. The layers are slowly revealed, similar to Attack on Titan and its many mysteries and many plot reveals, which makes for a very engaging kind of, like storytelling progression. There are so many different layers to the stories of Solo Leveling, and the more we get into the story, the deeper we see that the rabbit hole goes, and it really makes you just want to see what happens next. And yeah, I very much enjoyed this show. Let me know in the comment section down below, what did you think of Season 2, Episode 4 of Solo Leveling? Did you like it? Did you not? Did you think it was a little bit too kind of much of a cool down episode, almost bordering on filler? Or like me, did you think that it was an awesome way to hype up the kind of next arc of Season 2 of Solo Leveling? As always, if you enjoyed this video, learned something new, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, as that is the easiest way to help support me, and it really does go a long way in putting these videos into the algorithm. If you did enjoy this video, then want to check out some of my other anime and Solo Leveling content on screen now. And as always, I hope to see you in the next one. Until next time, guys, stay safe out there. Peace, love, Aru.